with how to make your own ribbed high neck crop top. You've maybe seen one of these online but didn't want to dish out the money for it, and that's fine because I'm going to show you how to make one for like under $3. All you need is an old ribbed sweater or an old jacket. Just make sure it's ribbed, and the stretchier the better, because if it's stretchy it's going to hide any errors that you make a lot better. Now to start, for my pattern I used a piece of newspaper. I had nothing else. I didn't even have a real ruler. I used a thing you mix paint with. Anyways, take a newspaper, and you know that line that goes across the newspaper? Well, I hope you use a newspaper because that is what I use to measure this. So set your straight edge or ruler like 3 inches above the crease in the newspaper at a slant, because this is what we're going to use to get the shape of the high neck portion of the crop top. Once your ruler is in the right spot, trace all the way down, and then take your newspaper, the whole thing, and fold it vertically. Then cut along the line you made, and then cut another line that's perpendicular to that. That probably makes 0 sense, so hopefully you can tell what I'm doing in the video. This is the pattern that you should come out with. It should look like this. It's the front of the crop top. So if you got none of that, I'm really sorry, guys. This is like the saddest excuse of a DIY ever. Just go ahead and dislike this video right now. But just kidding, please don't. Basically, it's a hexagon. So if your pattern ended up with 6 sides, you're probably on the right track. Now, hopefully the sweater you got already has a hem at the bottom, which I would imagine it does, unless you're just using like scrap material or something. But if it does have the hem, that's really good, because that's going to save you a step. You can just line up the bottom of your pattern with the bottom of the sweater. That way you don't have to worry about hemming the bottom later on, because there's already a hem there. Now go ahead and pin your pattern down to your fabric and cut it out. I left like 3/4 of an inch of seam allowance on mine. Then I folded the fabric in half just to make sure that the sides are lining up, and trimmed away any excess, just because I don't want some crooked ass shirt when I'm finished. Now here we are making the back piece. Basically same idea as the front piece, except the straight edge is slanting towards the left instead. Now trace and cut out your lines just like you did with the front pattern. What the hell? Okay, what the hell am I doing? I don't even know what's going on. Okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm making sure the front of the crop top lines up with the back at the sides. I really hope that made sense, you guys. Basically, this is what the back pattern looks like, and mine is like this because, as you can see in this clip, I did not have enough continuous fabric to make a full back piece. Since there was a zipper in the way, I had to make 2 different pieces that I later on sewed together. You can do it this way too. You're just going to have a seam down the back of your top. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just flipping over that same pattern and cutting it out, so I have a mirror image of the first piece that I cut out. Basically, this is what I ended up with. So this is what you wind up with. You've got a solid front piece and then 2 halves that are going to be sewn together to make the back piece. Now I had to do mine this way because there is a zipper in the way. If you have enough continuous fabric, just fold your fabric in half and lay this back piece we made along the fold, so that when you cut it out and unfold the fabric, you've got one solid back piece. So this clip is just to show you that you want to have really clean, straight cuts, and having ribbed fabric helps with that a lot. Okay, time to make the straps, and this is honestly the most difficult part of the DIY, but it's not too bad. Just take some scrap fabric and mark it at 8 inches long and about 1 inch wide, and then cut them out. You need 2 of them, and they're gonna be made thinner later on in the video. So now we have 1 big front piece, 2 straps, and either 2 back pieces or 1 solid back piece, depending on what you ended up doing. Okay, so now it's time to start sewing, or using hemming tape if you're going to go with a no-sew version. But what you want to do is fold down the upper sides of your front piece as straight as you can possibly get them, and then do the same thing with the back pieces or back piece. Really, the most important thing is just to make sure your lines are clean and the pieces are symmetrical, because ribbing is so stretchy. Even if you make your top too small, it should still fit. Now we're gonna sew the sides that we pinned down, and don't forget to backstitch. That's really important. Also, sew as straight as you possibly can, obviously. So for the straps, you can be lazy like me and use a flat iron, or you can be normal and use a regular iron, but we have to fold the strap in half with the good side on the inside because we're gonna sew these down and make like a little tube and then turn the tube inside out, which is honestly a pain in the ass. And I didn't even end up using these straps because I thought they looked too thick. I ended up making the straps a different way, which I'll show you that way too if you want a thinner strap. But if you're okay with having like kind of a thick strap, then do this. You're gonna pin along the ends and then sew all the way down the side so that you have this little tube that we're gonna turn inside out. And honestly, I spent like a fucking hour using tweezers to turn this little tube inside out, and then ended up not even using the strap, so that was really fun. Okay, here's the strap I ended up using. Literally the same method to making it, except don't cut your fabric an inch wide. Make it 3/4 of an inch wide, then fold it in half and sew down, and just never turn it inside out. So that's gonna leave you with this like ugly frayed part from the seam. Just make the strap as flat as you can and take your flat iron and straighten it so that that frayed part won't be showing. And that's really the only thing you can do to get a thinner strap that won't break. Okay, so lay your straps to the side because now we have to situate everything. So you're going to lay your front piece down right side up, so the part that would show when you're wearing it. Then you're going to take either your solid back piece or your two back halves, and you're going to lay those on top, and they're going to be inside facing out. So the part that would be touching your body is now facing you. So pin the sides together, just the bottom sides, not the sides that touch your neck. These sides right here, you do not want to sew those together. Now go ahead and sew with a straight stitch. Leave a little bit of seam allowance, but if you don't, it's probably okay because it's really stretchy. And here is the progress we've made. Yeah. So I accidentally deleted some of the footage that I needed for this DIY when I was trying to make space on my card. But luckily I can show you what got left out. I just sewed the back halves together to make it a solid piece. I also deleted the part where I sewed down the very top. I know, but I think you can figure it out. And now you want to pin your straps down, and you don't want them going straight up. You want them at a bit of an angle, kind of like how they're placed in this clip. And is my changing manicure throwing you off? Because it's throwing me off. So after you've sewn your straps down in the front, you need to put the top on and look in the mirror so you can measure where the end of the straps need to sew onto the back, because chances are if you made your straps 8 inches, they're going to be too long. So look in the mirror and just mark exactly where they need to sew onto the back. That way your straps aren't too long or too short. So pin those down in the perfect spot and then sew them down, and then just cut the excess off after you're finished. So here is some iPhone footage of the finished crop top since I deleted my good footage. I'm sorry guys. This DIY. Let me know if you guys would like to see some more, and thanks for watching. Bye guys.